Welcome to Wisdom Teachings with Dr. Amanda Love. Today's topic, unconditional love. Unconditional love. Love, by nature, is unconditional. It has no boundaries, rules, exclusions, or limitations. It is free, full, and all-encompassing. It is the most abundant resource in the universe and contains all of the protection that one would ever need. Yet this pristine, overflowing, all-knowing, and embracing love is often not our first choice. While we might think or say that we desire to be loving and come from love in all things, we have edges and limits to our willingness to include all inside of love. We make our love conditional, which is impossible to do because, by definition, love is unconditional. What conditionality really means is, I am choosing to love this but not that, or I am including this but not that. Unconditional love doesn't mean that you can't have preferences or use discernment. Rather, it simply means that regardless of whatever your preference or discernment is, love is still the fact of whatever you are experiencing. Whatever we choose to not see as love, we will experience as not love. Take an example of something in your life that you have resistance to or charge with and ask yourself, how is this love to? This will take you down the path of inquiry into the nature of things, into what things are really made of. No matter how twisted, distorted, or skewed something may appear, if you inquire into the nature of it, you will find love there. The key is that you have to look. If you don't look for it, you won't find it. Instead, you will keep recreating what your mind tells you that you see, which is something that is messed up or that you don't prefer. All this said, unconditional love does not excuse or permission unconscious behaviors. Rather, it loves them. It sees them as what they are, which allows the being of those behaviors to see themselves. To awaken from the slumber and find ways of expressing the love that they are through actions and behaviors that more clearly represent who they are. The reason why we often don't evolve in the ways that we express the love that we are is because rather than including all inside of love, we cast things out. Things inside of ourselves that we don't like and things inside of others that we can't accept. When we cast things out inside of our awareness, there is no hope for them. They are on their own, separate and disconnected. While our outcasting often feels justified and gives us a sense of power over something, it does little to help us or others heal. You may want to take an honest inventory of what you don't include as love. What things do you leave out? What is unacceptable to you? What is it that you simply refuse to see as love? There may be more there than you think. You may feel defeat to include things that you don't want to include or accept. It often feels like a loss of power from the perspective of our ego mind. It's as if we are losing our upper edge in the situation. Our rightness takes a hit. We really want to keep certain things out of love because we dislike them or we feel they hurt us, or we disagree with them. While we think this is helping us somehow, really all it's doing is allowing us to feel a false sense of power. True power comes from inclusion, not exclusion. Everything that exists must somehow be included by the very fact that it exists. Just because we do our best to not include something inside of love, inside of all that is, doesn't mean that we can actually make it not included. We can't really cast anything out. We can only give ourselves the experience of not including something inside of love, which is the experience of suffering, even if we feel some sense of temporary power in doing so. It's suffering because it's like operating without a part of our body. It feels limiting and restrictive. This is why so often we experience feeling limitation and restriction. It's not that we are actually limited or restricted. Rather, through giving ourselves the experience of non-inclusion of certain aspects of creation, we create the feeling of limitation and restriction. We handicap ourselves. The recognition that you hold things out of love is painful. When you really see how you do it, it will break your heart because it's simply unnatural to do so. Healing happens the moment we let go of our rightness about something and include it back into our heart. It doesn't mean that we have to like the thing, eat dinner with it, or take it on a date. It just means that our charge is gone and we are no longer pushing anything away. We let it be and see it for what it is inside of our heart. This is true power. Opening your heart to include everything does not put you at risk or make you vulnerable. Rather, it puts you in the position of ultimate protection. All of the protection we would ever need lives in love. Love penetrates everything. Coming from love reveals the truth of what is to itself. Even if something has been blind to love, it can, in a split second, remember and see itself. But it needs the reflection of its nature shown to it in order to remember. Every time you choose to come from love, you offer that reflection to another aspect of the universe. This is how collective healing happens. It starts and ends in your willingness to embrace and include all that is inside of what is, that being unconditional love.